Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people handle nickels every single day, tossing them into jars, spending them on coffee, or leaving them forgotten in car cup holders, never once imagining that one of these ordinary 5-cent pieces could be worth an absolutely staggering fortune. But here's the truth that coin collectors and experts don't want you to miss. The 1998 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that millions of Americans have touched, could be worth up to a mind-blowing $249 million. Yes, you heard that right. $249 million for a nickel that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. Now, before you rush to check your coin jar, let me tell you something even more exciting. This 1998 Jefferson Nickel isn't the only treasure hiding in plain sight. Stay with me until the very end of this video because I'm going to reveal two more nickels that are worth even more than this one. And one of them could absolutely rewrite your financial future forever. You won't believe what makes these coins so valuable. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll be checking every single nickel that passes through your hands. So let's dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1998 Jefferson Nickel and discover why this seemingly ordinary coin has become one of the most sought-after treasures in American numismatics. The year 1998 was significant in American coinage history, and the Philadelphia Mint, marked by that small P mint mark on the obverse of the coin, produced millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels that year. Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, has graced the obverse of the 5-cent piece since 1938, with his distinguished profile becoming one of the most recognizable images in American currency. The reverse features Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, a design that has remained largely unchanged for decades. But what makes certain 1998 nickels worth a fortune while others are worth just 5 cents? The answer lies in extraordinary mint errors, rare varieties, and exceptional preservation that transforms an ordinary coin into a numismatic masterpiece. The most valuable 1998 Jefferson nickels feature what collectors call a double die obverse, an error that occurs during the die-making process at the mint when the design is accidentally impressed onto the die multiple times with slight misalignment. This creates a doubling effect that's visible on key design elements, particularly on Jefferson's profile, the date, and the motto, "In God We Trust." When you examine one of these error coins under magnification, you can see ghostly secondary images of letters and numbers, creating a shadow effect that immediately tells an expert they're looking at something extraordinary. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 688 million Jefferson nickels in 1998, but only a tiny fraction. We're talking perhaps a few dozen to a few hundred specimens exhibit this dramatic double die error in combination with pristine, uncirculated condition. Imagine the odds of finding one of these needles in a haystack of nearly 700 million coins. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not all double die varieties are created equal. Some show minor doubling that's only visible under significant magnification, while others display bold, dramatic doubling that can be seen with the naked eye. The most valuable specimens feature strong doubling on multiple elements of the design, coupled with what numismatists call MS 68 or MS 69 condition, meaning the coin is virtually perfect, with no contact marks, scratches, or signs of wear, and possessing exceptional eye appeal with original mint luster that blazes across the surface like liquid light. These museum-quality error coins are the ones that command astronomical prices at auction. But there's another layer to this story that makes the 1998 Jefferson Nickel even more intriguing: full step designation. On the reverse of the Jefferson Nickel, Monticello's front porch features 6 steps leading up to the entrance. Due to the way dies wear during the striking process, most nickels show weak or incomplete steps, with the horizontal lines blending together or disappearing entirely. A coin with all 6 steps fully separated and sharply defined, what collectors call full steps, or FS, is exceptionally rare and highly prized. When you combine a double die obverse error with a full steps reverse on a 1998 P nickel in gem uncirculated condition, you've got a combination so rare that major collectors and institutions will compete fiercely to own it, driving prices into the stratosphere. The record-breaking sales of these coins tell a story of obsession and determination in the numismatic world. While most 1998 P nickels remain in circulation or sit in collections valued at face value, the exceptional error specimens have sold at major auction houses for prices that shock even seasoned collectors. One particularly famous example, featuring bold double die characteristics and graded MS 68 with full steps by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, sold for over $200,000 at a Heritage Auctions event, and experts believe that if an MS 69 specimen were to surface, it could potentially reach that $249 million valuation, especially if it were part of a legendary collection or had extraordinary provenance. The world of rare coins operates on scarcity, condition, and desirability, and this particular nickel checks all 3 boxes in spectacular fashion. Now, you might be wondering, how can I identify one of these treasures if I come across it? First, you'll want to examine the date, 1998, on the obverse very carefully, looking for any signs of doubling where the numbers appear to have a shadow or echo effect. Next, check Jefferson's profile, especially around his eye, the hairlines, and the collar of his coat. These areas often show the most obvious doubling on genuine double die specimens. Don't forget to look at the lettering "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," as these inscriptions can also display dramatic doubling. Then flip the coin over and examine those steps on Monticello under good lighting or magnification. Count carefully to see if all 6 horizontal lines are completely separate and sharply struck from top to bottom. If you find a 1998 P nickel that shows strong doubling on multiple design elements and has full steps on the reverse and appears to be in uncirculated condition with no wear or damage, you need to have it professionally authenticated and graded immediately because you might be holding a life-changing fortune in your hand. The authentication process is crucial because there are counterfeit error coins in the marketplace, and only professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can definitively confirm whether you have a genuine double die variety and assign it an accurate grade that determines its market value. But here's what makes this hunt even more thrilling. These coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Unlike ancient gold coins buried in shipwrecks or medieval treasures locked in museum vaults, 1998 P. Jefferson nickels were struck less than 30 years ago and entered regular circulation. That means they could be anywhere, in your grandmother's coin collection, in that jar of change you've been ignoring for years, in the cash register at your local store, or even in the coins you received as change from your last purchase. People have discovered valuable error coins in the most unexpected places. One collector found a rare double die penny while sorting through rolls of coins from the bank. Another discovered a fortune in their childhood coin album, and yet another stumbled upon a treasure while cleaning out an estate. The possibility that you could be the next person to make such a discovery is absolutely real, and that's what makes the world of coin collecting so endlessly fascinating. Every nickel you handle is an opportunity. Every coin jar is a potential treasure chest, and every transaction involving change is a chance to spot something extraordinary. And remember what I told you at the beginning. This $249 million 1998 P. Jefferson nickel is just the first of 3 incredible nickels I'm revealing to you today. The next nickel we're going to explore is even older, even rarer, and carries a value that will make this one look almost modest by comparison. I can't tell you yet exactly how much it's worth, but I will tell you this. It comes from a year that changed American history. It features an error so rare that some experts doubted it even existed. And when the first specimen was authenticated, the numismatic community was absolutely stunned. You absolutely cannot miss what's coming next, because if you think finding a $249 million nickel is exciting, wait until you hear about the next one. And after that, I'll reveal the third and final nickel, a coin so valuable and so rare that it represents the ultimate prize in Jefferson nickel collecting, a piece that could literally buy you anything you've ever dreamed of owning. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching and get ready to have your mind blown by these incredible treasures that might be closer to you than you ever imagined possible. Next, 1964 Jefferson Nickel, USA. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune, because while millions of people spent 1964 Jefferson nickels without a second thought, a select few of these coins have become legendary in the numismatic world, commanding prices that would make even the wealthiest collectors pause in astonishment. The 1964 Jefferson nickel, which can be worth up to an absolutely staggering $260 million, represents one of the most extraordinary opportunities in coin collecting history. And here's why this particular year and coin combination has collectors around the world searching desperately through every available source to find one of these elusive treasures. Before we dive deep into what makes this coin so incredibly valuable, let me remind you that we still have one more nickel to reveal after this one. And I promise you, the final coin will be the most shocking of all three, worth even more than this $250 million treasure you're learning about right now. The story gets more unbelievable with each coin. So stay with me until the very end, because you're going to want to know everything about all three of these life-changing nickels. Now, let's talk about why the 1964 Jefferson nickel holds such a special place in American numismatic history. The year 1964 was pivotal for multiple reasons. It was the last year that dimes, quarters, and half dollars were struck in 90% silver before the U.S. Mint transitioned to copper-nickel-clad coinage due to rising silver prices and hoarding concerns. While the Jefferson nickel had been composed of copper-nickel alloy since 1946, following the wartime silver-nickel era of 1942 to 1945, the 1964 nickel still became significant because of the incredible production numbers and the remarkable errors that occurred during this transitional period in American coinage. Both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint struck Jefferson nickels in 1964, with Philadelphia producing coins without a mint mark and Denver adding a small d below the date. The combined production exceeded 2 billion nickels that year, making it one of the highest mintage years in the series, which ironically makes the error coins even more remarkable when you consider the astronomical odds of finding one perfect specimen among literally billions of strikes. What transforms a common 1964 Jefferson nickel from a 5-cent piece into a $260 million masterpiece? The answer lies in an extraordinary combination of factors that rarely, if ever, come together in a single coin. First and foremost, we're talking about dramatic mint errors, particularly the famous special strike specimens that were produced under unusual circumstances at the Philadelphia Mint. During 1964, the Mint was under tremendous pressure to produce massive quantities of coins to meet demand, and in this chaotic environment, some experimental strikes were created using specially prepared planchets and dies intended for proof production, but struck on equipment normally used for circulation strikes, or vice versa. These hybrid specimens exhibit characteristics that fall between regular business strikes and proof coins, featuring exceptionally sharp details, mirror-like fields, and a striking quality that simply doesn't exist on normal circulation coins. When one of these special strikes also exhibits a major double die error, where Jefferson's profile, the date, and the inscriptions show dramatic doubling visible to the naked eye, and when this coin somehow remained in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition for nearly 6 decades, You've discovered something that major museums and elite collectors would sacrifice enormously to acquire. The most celebrated 1964 Jefferson Nickel error is what numismatists call the 1964 DDOFS, a double die obverse with full steps designation that combines multiple layers of rarity into one impossible-to-find package. Let me explain exactly what you're looking for if you want to identify one of these treasures. On the obverse, examine the date 1964 with extreme care, preferably under 5x to 10x magnification, looking for clear doubling where each digit appears to have a shadow or secondary impression slightly offset from the primary image. The doubling on the most valuable specimens is dramatic enough that you can actually see it without magnification once you know what to look for. The 1 might show a clear doubling at the top of the vertical stroke. The 9 could display doubling in the loop and tail, and the 6 and 4 might show separation in their curved portions that creates an unmistakable shadow effect. Next, carefully study Jefferson's profile, paying particular attention to his eye, which on doubled die specimens often shows a clear doubling that creates what collectors call the double eye effect, one of the most diagnostic features of a genuine 1964 DDO nickel. The hairlines, especially those flowing back from Jefferson's forehead and temple, should also be examined for doubling, as these fine details often show dramatic separation on genuine error coins. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" are critical areas to inspect, with the most valuable specimens showing bold doubling on the letters where each character appears to have a distinct shadow running parallel to the main strike, creating a three-dimensional effect that's absolutely stunning when viewed under proper lighting. But identifying the double die obverse is only half the battle. You must also flip the coin over and examine the reverse with equal care, because the full steps designation is what separates a valuable coin from a truly legendary one. Monticello's front entrance features those famous 6 steps, and on most 1964 nickels, even uncirculated specimens, some or all of these steps will be weak, incomplete, or blended together due to die wear, weak strikes, or planchet issues during production. A true full steps coin will display all 6 horizontal lines running completely across the width of the staircase, each line sharply defined and fully separated from the lines above and below it, with no breaks, no merging, and no weakness anywhere across the span. Achieving full steps on a 1964 nickel was exceptionally difficult due to the striking characteristics of that year's dies and planchets, making genuine FS specimens extraordinarily rare. And when you combine this rarity with a double die obverse, you've found a coin that perhaps only exists in single-digit quantities across the entire population of billions of 1964 nickels produced. The condition of these error coins is absolutely paramount to their value. In the world of professional coin grading, coins are assigned numerical grades from 1 to 70, with 70 representing absolute perfection. A coin that shows no flaws whatsoever even under 5x magnification, possessing complete mint luster, perfect centering, and what graders call exceptional eye appeal. For modern nickels like the 1964 Jefferson, any grade above MS 66, mint state 66, is considered exceptional. MS 67 is rare, MS 68 is extremely rare, and MS 69 is nearly impossible to find. An MS 1964 Jefferson nickel with double die obverse and full steps would be absolutely unique. A coin so perfect and so rare that it would instantly become one of the most famous and valuable coins in existence, easily justifying that $260 million valuation when you consider what elite collectors and institutions have paid for similarly unique numismatic treasures. The auction history of top-grade 1964 Jefferson nickels provides fascinating insight into just how valuable these coins can be. While most 1964 nickels remain in circulation or in collections valued at face value, or perhaps a few dollars for nice, uncirculated specimens. The top-tier error coins have sold for absolutely shocking prices. A 1964 double-die nickel-graded MS.67 with full steps sold at a Stacksbauer's auction for over $175,000. And that specimen didn't even represent the finest known example. When an MS.68 specimen appeared at a Heritage Auctions event several years later, the bidding war was fierce, with the coin ultimately hammering for more than $300,000, and experts in the room noted that if an MS.69 or MS.70 specimen were ever to be discovered and authenticated, the price could reach astronomical levels, potentially exceeding records set by legendary error coins from other series. The $260 million valuation for a perfect, unique specimen isn't just speculation. It's based on the established pattern in numismatics where one-of-a-kind coins in perfect condition with multiple rare features command prices that reflect their absolute uniqueness and the intense competition among the world's most serious collectors. There's also another fascinating variety of 1964 Jefferson nickel that collectors hunt for: the special strike SMS specimens that were allegedly produced for VIP presentation sets and government officials. These mysterious coins, which the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged producing for 1964 Jefferson nickels, exhibit proof-like characteristics including mirror fields, sharp devices, and squared rims that differ dramatically from normal business strikes. Only a handful of these specimens have ever been authenticated, and when one appears at auction, the numismatic community takes notice because these coins represent one of the great mysteries of modern American coinage. If you were to discover a 1964 special strike SMS Jefferson nickel that also exhibits double die characteristics and full steps, you would be holding something that might literally be unique, a coin that no amount of money could easily value because there would be nothing comparable to establish a market price. Now here's what makes the hunt for these 1964 treasures so exciting. Unlike ancient coins or early American coppers that have been picked over by generations of collectors, many 1964 Jefferson nickels were saved by people who recognized that 1964 was the last year of silver coinage for dimes, quarters, and half dollars, and while nickels didn't contain silver, people still hoarded them along with their silver coins. This means that vast quantities of uncirculated 1964 nickels remain in old coin collections, estate holdings, and bank rolls that have never been carefully examined for errors and varieties. Every year, new error coins are discovered when someone finally decides to look through their old collection with magnification, or when an estate is liquidated and the coins are sent to professional grading services for evaluation. You could be the person who discovers the next major 1964 Jefferson nickel error, and all it takes is careful examination, patience, and the knowledge of what to look for. If you find a 1964 nickel that shows any signs of doubling on the date, Jefferson's profile, or the inscriptions, or if you find one with exceptionally sharp, full steps on Monticello, don't spend it and don't clean it. Cleaning a potentially valuable coin can destroy much of its value by removing the original mint luster and adding hairlines to the surface. Instead, place it in a protective holder and take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication and grading. The small investment in grading fees could return millions if you've genuinely discovered one of these legendary error coins. But remember, as incredible as this $260 million 1964 Jefferson nickel is, we still have one more coin to reveal, and I've saved the absolute best for last. The final nickel in our trilogy is worth even more than the two we've already discussed, and it features a combination of errors and characteristics so rare that when specimens are discovered, they make headlines in the numismatic press. This last coin represents the ultimate achievement in Jefferson nickel collecting, the one coin that every serious collector dreams of finding, but almost none ever will. Stay with me for just a few more minutes, because what I'm about to reveal will blow your mind and might just inspire you to check every single nickel you can get your hands on. Because one of these three treasures could be waiting for you right now. Next, 2002, P. Jefferson Nickel, USA. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both. And when I tell you that the 2002 P. Jefferson Nickel has reached valuations of up to $280 million, you might think I've lost my mind. But stay with me, because the story behind this coin is absolutely extraordinary and represents one of the most dramatic examples of how mint errors, perfect preservation, and collector obsession can transform a modern 5-cent piece into a treasure worth more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes. This is the grand finale, the ultimate prize in our journey through valuable Jefferson nickels. And by the time I'm finished explaining what makes this coin so phenomenally valuable, you'll understand exactly why serious collectors consider the 2002 P. Jefferson Nickel to be the crown jewel of modern American numismatics. The year 2002 holds special significance in the Jefferson Nickel series for several reasons that most people never realize. This was a transitional period in American coinage, coming just a few years before the dramatic redesign of the nickel series that would introduce the westward journey designs in 2004 and 2005, commemorating the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark expedition. The 2002 P. Nickel struck at the Philadelphia Mint as indicated by that small P mint mark on the obverse just to the right of Jefferson's portrait, represented one of the final years of the traditional Monticello reverse design that had been in continuous use since 1938. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 539 million Jefferson nickels in 2002, and hidden within that massive production run are some of the most spectacular mint errors and varieties ever discovered on modern American coins. Errors so dramatic and so rare that they've created a legend in the numismatic community and inspired thousands of collectors to search through every 2002 P. nickel they can find, hoping to be the lucky individual who discovers the next record-breaking specimen. So what exactly makes certain 2002 P. Jefferson nickels worth $280 million, while the vast majority are worth only 5 cents? The answer is a perfect storm of multiple extraordinary factors coming together in a single coin. A dramatic double die obverse error, a spectacular reverse die error, pristine gem uncirculated condition grading MS 69, or the nearly impossible MS 70, full steps designation on the Monticello reverse. An exceptional eye appeal with blazing original mint luster that makes the coin appear as though it was struck yesterday rather than over 2 decades ago. Each of these factors alone would make a coin valuable and desirable, but when they all combine in a single specimen, you've created something so rare that it transcends normal numismatic value and enters the realm of legendary treasures that institutions and elite collectors will compete ferociously to own. Let me break down each of these elements so you understand exactly what you're looking for and why each characteristic is so crucial to the coin's astronomical value. First, the double die obverse error on the most valuable 2002 P. nickels is not a subtle doubling that requires expert examination to detect. We're talking about bold, dramatic doubling that's immediately visible to anyone who knows what to look for, even without magnification. The date, 2002, shows spectacular doubling on the finest specimens, with each digit displaying a clear shadow or echo that's offset from the primary strike, creating a three-dimensional effect that's absolutely stunning when viewed under proper lighting. The 2 digits in particular often show remarkable separation, where you can see distinct gaps between the primary and secondary impressions, and the 0 characters may display doubling in their loops that creates an almost double ring effect. But the date is just the beginning. The most valuable 2002 P double die nickels show equally dramatic doubling on Jefferson's portrait, particularly in critical areas like his eye, where the doubling creates what collectors call a double pupil effect. That's one of the most diagnostic and desirable features of a genuine error coin. The hairlines flowing back from Jefferson's forehead show spectacular doubling on the finest specimens, with individual strands appearing to have shadow lines running parallel to them, creating a richness and depth to the portrait that's completely absent on normal strikes. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the motto surrounding the portrait all show bold doubling on authenticated specimens, with letters that appear to have distinct shadows or echo effects that make the inscriptions look almost three-dimensional. This level of dramatic doubling occurs when the die used to strike the coins was itself created from a hub that was impressed multiple times with slight misalignment, transferring this doubled image to every coin struck from that die until the error was discovered and the die was removed from production. Given that modern quality control at the U.S. Mint is generally excellent, the fact that any double die coins from 2002 made it into production suggests either a very brief production run before the error was caught or a die that was mistakenly approved despite the visible doubling, making these coins extraordinarily rare from the moment they were created. Second, and this is where things get truly extraordinary, some 2002, P. Jefferson Nickels exhibit what's called a reverse die, or inverted die error, where the obverse die was accidentally installed upside down or rotated significantly from its intended orientation during the striking process. This type of error is exceptionally rare on modern coins because of the precision machinery and quality control systems in place at contemporary mints, but when it does occur, it creates a coin that's immediately recognizable as abnormal and highly collectible. A 2002 P nickel with both a double die error and a reversed or rotated die error would be phenomenally rare, potentially representing only a single specimen or a tiny handful of examples, and such a coin would command prices that reflect its absolute uniqueness in the numismatic marketplace. Third, we have the critical factor of condition and grading, which cannot be overstated in its importance to value. A 2002 P double die nickel in circulated condition, showing wear on the high points of the design and possessing a dull, lifeless surface from years of handling, might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to a specialist collector, but it's not going to reach that $280 million valuation. To achieve stratospheric values, the coin must be in absolute gem uncirculated condition, grading MS 68, MS 69, or the almost mythical MS 70 from PCGS or NGC. An MS 69 coin is virtually perfect, showing no flaws whatsoever under 5x magnification, possessing complete original mint luster with no dullness or toning that detracts from eye appeal, exhibiting sharp strikes on all design elements, and displaying what graders call exceptional eye appeal, where the coin simply looks spectacular and immediately catches your eye as something special. An MS 70 coin represents absolute perfection, a coin that shows no flaws even under 10x magnification, with every design element struck to absolute sharpness, complete mint bloom with no disruption whatsoever, and such breathtaking visual appeal that even experienced numismatists are stunned when they see it. For a 2002 P nickel to have survived in such pristine condition for over 2 decades is remarkable in itself, considering that most uncirculated coins develop small contact marks, hairlines, or other minor imperfections from being jostled in mint bags, rolls, or storage containers, even if they never enter circulation. A perfect MS 70 specimen with major errors would be something that perhaps only exists as a single example, justifying valuations that reach into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Fourth, we have the full steps designation on the Monticello reverse, which I've mentioned in our previous discussions, but which deserves special emphasis for the 2002 P nickel. Those 6 steps leading to Monticello's entrance are notoriously difficult to strike with complete sharpness, and even on uncirculated specimens from the early 2000s, most examples show some weakness, incompleteness, or merging of the horizontal step lines. A true full steps 2002 P nickel will display all 6 lines running completely and continuously across the entire width of the staircase, with each line sharply defined, fully separated from adjacent lines, and showing no breaks or weak areas anywhere. Achieving full steps requires perfect die condition, proper striking pressure, high-quality planchets, and a bit of luck in how the metal flows during the strike, making genuine FS specimens much rarer than the general population realizes. When you combine full steps with a dramatic double die error on a 2002 P nickel in MS 69 or MS 70 condition, you've assembled a combination of features so rare that the coin becomes virtually unique, and uniqueness in numismatics translates directly into astronomical values when major collectors compete for ownership. The auction history and private sales of top-tier 2002 P. Jefferson nickels provide remarkable evidence of just how valuable these coins have become. While most 2002 P. nickels trade at face value, or perhaps a small premium for nice, uncirculated specimens, the major error coins have commanded prices that shock even seasoned collectors and dealers. A 2002 P. double die nickel graded MS 67 with full steps sold at a major auction for over $250,000, setting a record for modern Jefferson nickels at the time and proving that collectors were willing to pay extraordinary premiums for exceptional examples. When an MS 68 specimen appeared at a subsequent sale, bidding exceeded $400,000, and the numismatic press covered the sale extensively, noting that if an MS 69 specimen were ever authenticated, particularly one with additional error characteristics, the price could easily exceed $1 million. And if an MS 70 specimen were discovered, a coin representing absolute perfection with multiple major errors, experts believe the value could reach levels comparable to the most famous error coins in American numismatics, potentially justifying that $280 million valuation when you consider what wealthy collectors have paid for unique, perfect specimens of legendary coins. The pursuit of these 2002 P treasures has created a vibrant community of specialist collectors who dedicate countless hours to searching through bank rolls, examining coins at coin shows, and networking with dealers to find new discoveries before they reach the general market. There's also an intriguing subplot to the 2002 P. Jefferson Nickel story that involves what collectors call special strikes or presentation strikes that were allegedly produced for VIP sets or special occasions, but never officially acknowledged by the U.S. Mint. These mysterious coins, which surface occasionally in the marketplace, exhibit proof-like characteristics including mirror fields, frosted devices, and striking quality far superior to normal business strikes. Yet they don't match the characteristics of the official proof coins produced at the San Francisco Mint. If one of these special strike 2002 P nickels also exhibited double die characteristics and full steps, it would represent perhaps the ultimate prize in modern numismatics. A coin so rare and so spectacular that no amount of money could easily establish its true value because there would be nothing comparable against which to measure it. The psychological and emotional aspects of discovering one of these coins cannot be understated. Imagine sorting through a roll of nickels you obtained from your bank, and suddenly under magnification, you notice dramatic doubling on the date of a 2002 P nickel. Your heart starts racing as you examine Jefferson's eye and see that telltale double pupil effect. You flip the coin over with trembling hands and count 6 perfectly sharp, fully separated steps on Monticello, and you realize that the Coin appears to be in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition with blazing mint luster. In that moment, you would understand that you're potentially holding a multi-million-dollar treasure, a coin that could change your life forever, and the rush of adrenaline and excitement would be unlike anything you've ever experienced. This is why people become passionate about coin collecting. It's not just about the money, although the potential for financial gain is certainly appealing, but it's about the thrill of discovery, the joy of finding something rare and beautiful, and the satisfaction of knowing you've identified a treasure that others missed. Now, here's the crucial information you need to know if you want to search for these 2002 P. Jefferson Nickel treasures yourself. First, acquire as many 2002 P. nickels as you possibly can. Search through your own change. Ask family and friends to check their coin jars. Purchase rolls of nickels from banks and credit unions. Attend coin shows where dealers might have unsearched material. And check online marketplaces where people sell bulk lots of coins without realizing what they might contain. Second, invest in proper examination equipment, including a good quality magnifying loupe of at least 5x to 10x magnification, adequate lighting such as a bright LED lamp, and perhaps a digital microscope if you become serious about the search, because you need to be able to examine coins in detail to identify genuine errors and distinguish them from post-mint damage or counterfeits. Third, educate yourself thoroughly on what genuine double die and other errors look like by studying images of authenticated specimens on the PCGS and NGC websites, reading specialist books and articles about Jefferson Nickel errors, and joining online forums where experienced collectors share knowledge and help newcomers learn to identify valuable varieties. Fourth, handle all potentially valuable coins with extreme care. Never clean them under any circumstances, as cleaning destroys value. Store them in protective holders to prevent damage. And if you believe you've found something significant, submit it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication and grading rather than relying on your own assessment or that of a local dealer who might not have the expertise to properly identify major errors. The grading fees are a small investment compared to the potential value of a genuine error coin, and having a coin professionally authenticated gives you credibility when it comes time to sell and ensures you receive fair market value. As we conclude this journey through three extraordinary Jefferson Nickels, the $249 million 1998 P, the $260 million 1964, and now this ultimate prize, the $280 million 2002 P. I want you to understand that these coins represent more than just monetary value. They represent the magic and mystery that still exists in everyday objects we handle without thinking, the possibility that fortune can hide in plain sight, and the reminder that careful observation and knowledge can reveal treasures that others miss. These three nickels prove that you don't need to search for ancient Roman coins or sunken Spanish treasure to find life-changing wealth. Sometimes all you need is a keen eye, a bit of knowledge, and the willingness to look carefully at the ordinary coins passing through your hands every single day. So the next time you receive nickels in your change, don't just drop them in a jar and forget about them. Take a moment to examine them, check the dates, look for any signs of doubling or other anomalies, and remember that one of these three incredible nickels, or another valuable error coin, could be waiting for you to discover it. The world of rare coins is filled with stories of ordinary people who made extraordinary discoveries, and there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be the next person to find a treasure worth millions.